Hello, sweeties. I have some live swatches of this month's polish pickup polishes to share with you today. June's inspiration theme is cartoons, and I have 15 of those polishes to show you. First, we have Hitch Susan by Danny Viana, inspired by the manga anime XXX Holic and its iconic character, Yuko. Described as an aqua-leaning turquoise curly base with a strong pink to gold aurora shimmer as well as pink reflective glitters. Shown here in 2 coats. You may need 3 if you have more of a free edge. It does dry with a small amount of texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. That pink to gold shift that was visible under the studio lighting becomes much more prominent and almost darker. This polish also has some reflective glitters, so here it is shown under low lighting with a flash, where you can definitely see the pink reflective glitters shine through. Hitch Susan is $14 with a cap of $400. This is Luca by Cupcake Polish, inspired by the animated movie of the same name, Luca. Described as a teal to blue multi-chrome shimmer, shown here in 2 coats. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. This one had a strong shift to begin with, but when under the lower lighting, those shifts become much stronger, and at some angles the polish completely shifts to a blue rather than a teal green shade. Luca is $13.50 with no cap. This is Starlight Glimmer by Cuticula, inspired by Starlight Glimmer from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Described as an orchid purple base with green, aqua, and blue shifting shimmer. Shown here in 3 coats. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. Under the lower lighting, the light orchid base becomes a bit of a darker shade of purple, and the green and blue of the shifting shimmer very much shows itself more. Starlight Glimmer is $13.50 with no cap. Here we have 1 O'Clock Boy Talk by Garden Path Lacquers, inspired by Grenda from Gravity Falls. Described as a grape jelly base filled with purple holographic microglitter and pink to orange shifting iridescent flakes. Shown here in 2 coats. If you have more of a free edge than me, you may need 3 coats. Dries with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. One O'Clock Boy Talk is $13.50 with no cap. This is Thumper by Glisten and Glow, inspired by Thumper from Bambi. Described as a gray polish with taupe undertones loaded with larger particle shimmers that shift red, orange, pink, gold, and green, as well as some hollow flakes. Shown here in 3 coats. first shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. You can really see the pinkish red and the gold of the iridescent flakes come to life under the lower lighting. Thumper is $13.50 with no cap. Next up is Rant and Raven by Jen and Berries, inspired by Mystique from X-Men animated series, described as a bright cobalt base with blue to violet shimmer, scattered metallic red flakes, as well as hollow flakes. Shown here in 2 coats. If you have more of a free edge than I do, you may need 3. Dries with a small amount of texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. Rant and Raven is $13 with a cap of $500. Here we have The Dock Is In by GR Couture, inspired by Doc McStuffins, described as a thermal polish that is violet when cool and shifts to a sapphire blue when it's warm, plus some soft blue glitter and a gold, green, and fuchsia shimmer. Shown here in 3 coats. Dries with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. Here I show it transitioning from its cool state to its warm state. The thermal transition was very quick and noticeable for me, and I really love this color combo. The Dock Is In is $13.75 with no cap. This is Sugar, Spice, and Everything Nice by KB Shimmer, inspired by the Powerpuff Girls, described as a tail-leaning blue base with a shifting microflake shimmer that shifts between a bubblegum pink to a vibrant yellow and some green shifts in lower lighting. Shown here in 2 coats. Dries with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a full glossy finish. First shown under studio lighting and then under lower lighting. Under the lower lighting, the yellow and the green of the shifting flakes really take over, with some of the pink shifts still peeking through. Sugar, Spice, and Everything Nice is $13 with no cap. Next we have Ain't That Just the Way by Lynn B Designs, inspired by Over the Garden Wall, described as a pale blue base with intense red, copper to orange gold shifting shimmer. Shown here in 3 coats. This is one of those pearl or frosty kind of formulas where you want to try to be as mindful as possible with your application so you don't have uneven or curvy brush strokes once it dries. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. The orange gold shift becomes much stronger under the lower lighting, and the pale blue base morphs into like a gray shade, and the combo is super pretty. Ain't That Just the Way is $13 with no cap. Here we have My Beans by Night Owl Lacquer, inspired by Lumpy Space Princess from Adventure Time. Described as a clear base filled with lavender microflakes, holographic dust, and shimmer that shifts between violet, pink, peach, gold, and green. Shown here in 2 coats. Dries with some texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. first shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. Under the low lighting, I was able to capture the gold and peachy pink of the shift for sure, and the others at strong angles would peek through. My beans is $13 with no cap. This is My Mission by Pampered Polishes, inspired by Invader Zim, described as a pastel mint green with matte black flakes, shown here in 2 coats, dries with some texture so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. My Mission is $13 with no cap. Next up is Soulmates by Penelope Luz, inspired by Cardcaptor Sakura. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. Described as a baby purple with sparkle shifting pigment as well as a bit of hollow and flaky pigment. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. Under the lower lighting, the pinkish purple shift you see under the studio lighting becomes a bit darker, and at certain angles you can see some gold and green shift as well. Soulmates is $13 with a cap of $700. Here we have Alstroemeria by Pie Colors, inspired by Taiga, from the anime Toradora. Described as bright peachy pink with red, gold, and green shimmer, shown here in 3 coats. Formula is on the sheer side, but it does build up for me. However, if you have longer nails than me and your free edge is more visible, then you may still see it in 3 coats. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. The peach and gold shift becomes much more noticeable under the lower lighting. Alstroemeria is $13 with a cap of $200. This is Let's Get Dangerous by Rogue Lacquer, inspired by Darkwing Duck, described as a purple jelly base with glowy blue glass flakes as well as red to purple magnetic shimmer. Shown here in 2 coats, dries with some texture so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. The magnet used is the ring magnet from Polish Pickup. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. The purple base becomes more of a blurple, almost blue, and that bright pink-red magnetic pole starts to shift to a peachy pink. Let's Get Dangerous is $13.50 with 500 cap. And last up is That's a Dinglehopper by Sweetheart Polish, inspired by the Little Mermaid's cover art. Described as a juicy blurple base with rosy pink magnetic pigment, hollow flakes, gold reflective glitter, and a bright blue shimmer. Shown here in 2 coats, you may need 3 if you have a longer free edge. It does dry with a little bit of texture, so a top coat is needed for a smooth glossy finish. Again, I'm using the ring magnet from Polish Pickup. First shown under studio lighting and then lower lighting. Under the lower lighting, you can see a slight purple shift with the magnetic pull, which I wasn't expecting, but it was a happy surprise. This polish also has some reflective glitters, so here it is shown under low lighting with a flash, where you can see the gold reflective glitters shine through a little bit more. That's a Dingle Hopper, is $13.50 with a cap of $2.50. My top 3 favorites from this month are Limby Designs' Ain't That Just the Way, which surprises me because I don't usually go for the lighter shades, and this is definitely a lighter shade, but I don't know what it is about this one. The creamy formula yet pearlescent look was just super pretty, and I think it will work great as a base for a lot of my future nail art. A close second is Dior Couture's The Dock Is In. I really love the purple to blue transition and the way that the blue glitters almost popped out of the polish. It just felt like a very happy polish to me. And lastly, I'm going to go with Cupcake Polish's Luca for numerous reasons. One, my favorite finish of a polish is a strong multi-chrome shifter, and this is just that. But also because it's that deep dark shade, which I'm also really pulled towards. Plus, I love the movie Luca. Let me know in the comments below which polishes are your favorite and which ones you plan on getting your hands on this month. Polish Pickup goes live this Friday, June 7th at polishpickup.com and will run until Monday, June 10th. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!